I'ma start going way on.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me, my attorney gon' call and collect. Blessings on blessings for me, my successes only made them envious, they got upset. I had to put all their egos in check.
What's going on, Derek?
What's going on, man?
Dude, thanks for coming by, and thanks for bringing out your Volkswagen. Why don't you tell us a little bit of what we got here?
So this is my 2015 Volkswagen Mk7 GTI.
For those who don't know, Derek's, he's actually a very long-time customer of ours here at Eurofed. We've pretty much touched every Volkswagen you've had. Yep. Derek's been involved with the Volkswagen community for a pretty long time, as long as I've known you, pretty much. I met you going to meet with Volkswagen,
right. Yep.
And then you ended up with this Mk7, and we've helped you along the way, piecing together to where what we think is kind of a nice balanced package for what you would want for a Mk7. So that's the main reason why we wanted to showcase this car, is not only because you're a great customer of ours, but also because it checks all the boxes of what we recommend everyone do on a Mk7.
Right.
So I kind of want to start off with the exterior, because from the get-go, it looks fairly stock, but there's a lot of little details you did touch.
Right, yeah.
It really modernized it.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure that I kept it, very OEM plus, with the exception of, the aftermarket wheels. But what I did was I changed the headlights out to the Mark 7.5 headlights. Mm-hmm. We've got the racing line decal on the side.
Yeah, and I am noticing a lot of racing line.
Yeah.
When I was looking at the car earlier, there's a lot of racing line parts on it. So that was one of the brands you kind of went with.
Yeah. So initially, when I bought the car, it had racing line parts on it, and so again, Racing Line makes a great product, and so with the help of Eurofed, I was able to order more Racing Line parts, and we've done most of the interior parts. I'm sorry, the engine parts are Racing Line, the brakes are Racing Line. So. Nice. So again, I just wanted to keep it mostly Volkswagen, and
I like how it's like they are decals, and like normally when you put stickers on a car, it looks really like just a little too ricey. But these were like, it looks like they were for the car. Like you bought the car with these decals like from factory.
Right.
So I like that a lot.
Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to keep it very minimal, but sort of keep it in the same OEM plus.
Nice, and then you have the Mark 7.5 taillights as well, correct?
That's correct, yeah. So I wanted to, again, just kind of bring it up to speed, bring it up to date anyway. The OEM lights that came on this car were nice, but this also gives it a more modern look, and they're also LED, so I think it makes the lines in the car look great at night. Yeah,
I mean, the Mark 7 is already such an angular modern car, so these really set it off.
And it was almost a little unfair that they came with the lights that they came with, so I thought that these were
they suit the car way better.
Right, like the way they should have been produced with.
And I see a little Maxton.
A little Maxton look just for aesthetics. Yeah. It's going with the black and red theme, and again, just making sure it doesn't look
too much, but still
right. Just very subtle, and but still, keep it OEM.
Yeah, so I think we all agree that this is pretty much the ultimate OEM plus way you can go.
Right, exactly.
Really. Nice.
Exactly.
And then we can talk about the elephant in the room that we haven't talked about yet. The GTI on top of your GTI.
The roof box, yeah. So, being that it's a two-door, the trunk space is very minimal, and I also have a upper rear brace in the back that makes it difficult to really put a lot of things in the back. So, the next step was the roof box, which again, just anything extra that I want to put up there, I can put up there, no problem. Yeah. And I think it looks great too.
And it looks like you've taken it on the Dragon with the box on it. So how did it do on the Dragon? Because I know that's pretty taxing road.
I loaded up with all my camping stuff, and it did perfectly fine. There was no difference. There was no balance, no difference in balance. It took the Dragon, no problem.
Oh, beautiful.
So.
Awesome. Well, I think that pretty much covers the exterior, correct?
Yep.
Or
it also has a Milltek exhaust.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Again, it's trying to keep it with, all the German parts on it and European parts on it, and
Milltek's pretty good.
And
they found a nice balance between like you hear a nice little groan, but it's not like you're not that.
Yeah, no, it really it makes it sound like as a GTI should sound, right? Not anything over, not very raspy. It keeps it very subtle,
Let's go on to wheels and suspension then, because I am very jealous of these nice gold O.Z Superleggeras.
Yeah.
So, what do we have as far as suspension, brakes, wheels? What's going on here?
So, as far as suspension goes, it's on H&R Street Performance Coilovers. Wheels are 19-inch Ultraleggeras HLTs, and suspension-wise, also I have the front sway bar, rear sway bar, and again the upper.
Is it H&R sway bars?
Yes.
Okay.
And the rear brace is racing line as well.
Nice, and we'll check that out too once we get to the interior. But these brakes are massive.
So these are stage 2 racing line. Again, keeping the car with mostly racing line products. They're stage 2 racing line. They're 330 millimeter.
How you like them?
They're great. Like I said, I've taken them to the Dragon. It stops on a dime.
And you're a pretty aggressive driver, so.
Yeah,
I've been with you in the mountains.
I do. I enjoy the mountain runs. I mean, like again, get back to the car just being very simple, very sort of clean.
Balanced, pretty much.
I really do drive this car. Like it's not, it's not really a show car for me. I really and genuinely like use this car. I take it. I love going up to the mountains and doing mountains run with it, and I build it for the mountains.
Yeah, which these are perfect for I've seen guys in GTIs walk Z06s in the mountains.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. Like,
yeah, no.
Shorter wheelbase, nice and nimble. You really can't beat it.
And again, even with the box on top, this thing at the Dragon was just amazing. I mean, the first time I took it on there, I was genuinely surprised how well and balanced it is how tight the Dragon is.
Especially without the suspension setup's really nice. And you have Firestone 8500s?
Yeah, so those are my wheel of choice. I know most people prefer the Michelins, but I am an Indy 500 fan. And
no, I have them on my Mark IV. For the money, they're sticky.
Yeah,
sticky tires.
So this will be my third set of Firehawks, because I literally you can't. Anyway, for me and the price point, you can't get a better tire.
No, but at all. Because then I think it's almost like double the price for a Michelin.
Yeah.
But all right, so exterior, wheel suspension, all perfect of how we would want it. So as far as suspension, how's it feel like? Because I know when people set up suspension, it's kind of people think stiffer is always better, or how do you have your suspension set up as far as?
It feels very OEM. I can tell you the difference when I had my 18s on there. Had a little more meat on the tire. It was a lot more cushion.
Yeah.
But with the 19s, and being that these are 245s, they feel great.
Yeah.
I don't really feel a difference as far as.
You don't feel like you're sacrificing anything.
I don't.
For this performance.
Honestly, I don't. I had a different set of wheels on here before that I really loved. That really. In all honesty, served no purpose for me, because I couldn't drive the car how I wanted to with the wheels on there, and they look great, and for shows and everything. But I want to build a car
to drive. You want to have fun. Yeah.
I don't want to build a car to where every time I go over a bump, I feel it rub or.
You gotta worry about it every time you drive. Yeah.
Right. So I want to be able to use the car. I want to be able to get in and drive it, and if I happen to take an aggressive road, then I can drive the aggressive road and not have to worry about bottoming out, my tire or anything like that. So,
what a grown-up build. Functionality is a weird thing, right?
Not only that, but I mean, it's an adult build. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
you built it to drive it. That's it.
I did. I built it to drive it, and I keep it relatively clean. I want to build it. I want to be able to drive it. I don't have the luxury of having to park this and drive something else.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure that I'm able to drive my car.
Nice. Actually, and before we go on to zero, the color scheme I like a lot. So the bronze on red, was that on purpose, or just happen to find the wheels?
I've always owned black wheels. And
I'm noticing that just now, being friends with you for years. I've not noticed all your wheels are black.
All my wheels were black. And so when these became available, I threw them on there, and it was an adjustment, obviously, coming from black wheels, but I really do love how it just
it's a bit of a classic combo. It really does work.
Yeah, so you always had the red with the gold BBSs, and they aren't BBSs, but they're still along that same.
Yeah, they're OZs. You're in. You're fine.
Right. There's
still really nice wheels.
There's a legacy still there. You know what I mean? So, but
no, I love it, man.
Yeah,
I love it. All right, well, let's go on the interior, because you have it spec'd how I would have mine spec'd, which is cloth. They do make it with leather, but there's just something about this.
Yeah, the plaid is.
The plaid is iconic.
You have to. I mean, again, and it's a 2-door GTI, so it's not.
And it's a manual 2-door. That's another thing.
It's a manual 2-door.
2-door, manual 2-door.
So this is, if you talk to anybody that is a GTI enthusiast, you'll know that this is really how the GTI should have always been.
If only people just bought them.
Right.
Please.
Right. So the 4-door is great, which, if you have a family or whatever the case may be, is a 4-door, but I mean, you can't go wrong with a 2-door classic.
No. And the lines of just the coupe.
Yeah.
Perfect. What touches have you made to the interior?
So the interior is pretty much stock. I mean, I've got the carpets in there. I've also, I also have the monster mats for it. It's got the Black Forest Industries shifted weight knob.
Nice. I like how the golf ball is like kind of hankering back to, you know.
So lucky when I bought the car, it actually was one of our good friends in the car group, and he had already installed the BFI shift knob. So that I was really happy to. I've thought about changing it, but I'd gotten so used to it now that.
So, actually, we didn't cover like how you got this GTI and how it's kind of funny where like the small community we have here in Atlanta, where you end up buying a car from someone we knew.
Right.
But not even like it was like a third party almost. It was.
Right. When my GLI was totaled, at the same time I was already looking to buy something else, and I happened to stumble across this car, which was belonged to a friend of ours at a dealership. And so as soon as I saw it, I know all the things.
You knew what was done to it.
Right, I knew all the great things he had already done to it. So I went to the dealership, and I came home with it, which was it was just amazing in itself that I was able to own this car.
Yeah, and it had all the parts you already wanted, so it really was like you're just buying a car that.
Right, I can just run with from at that point because it already had a lot of goodies on there.
Nice. Well, then speaking of goodies, you have a lot of. Actually, no, never mind. The interior. We're not done because you have this insane trunk setup. I love that about Mark 7s.
Yeah.
The little the handle that's also the logo. But yeah, God, look at that. So, other than your Volkswagen first aid kit and your little mat. No, I love it.
It's the OCD, man.
It's OCD and it's still OEM plus.
Right.
But I see a massive carbon fiber brace here, so I want you to tell us a little bit about this, because that's a pretty interesting piece.
Yeah. So again, like I said, I built a car to run on the mountains, and one of the things that I wanted to ensure was that the car wasn't swaying a lot or wasn't moving around a lot while taking aggressive turns. So you guys put in a racing line upper sway bar for me, and it is. I mean, it's completely changed the cars.
It looks more like a whole brace at this point.
Yeah, which is great because it's nice because I still have the ability to lower and raise the seats.
Really?
And it doesn't get in the way. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So the way that it's clamped to where the seats actually attach, and I can take it down, bring it up. But again, that's the reason for the roof box, was because the brace is there, so I don't have the 60/40 split anymore. I mean, you just can't really put anything else in there.
Yeah. And how much of a difference did it make when you added it?
It made a huge difference.
Really?
I mean, you can tell, like, if you were backing up from somewhere and where your back wheels were uneven, that flex just stops.
And so overall, just a lot more.
It just stiffens the car completely. I mean, it's a go-kart.
And it's way more predictable afterwards and all that.
Right. And then after driving it, for so long, now I know where the strengths of where in the turn I can be more aggressive and where,
It made it easier to drive, which makes you faster at the end of the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. Well, all right, so that's the interior and that awesome X-Brace. Let's check out what is powering this thing, because...
So it's full bolt-on. Unitronic Stage 2 Plus.
Okay. Ooh, look at that. All you see is just an intake.
Right. Again with the OEM Plus thing, the racing line makes a beautiful box. It keeps everything sort of looking OEM.
No, yeah, even like to the kind of honeycomb to honeycomb, it looks really similar. Yep. I like.
This is one of the parts that was already installed when I bought the car. The previous owner just kept the theme of racing line all through it. So it's got the R600 intake, the turbo inlet hose, the turbo muffler delete is all racing line. Has a racing line short shift kit on it.
Nice. How you like the short shifter?
I love it a lot. It's I've never owned one before, and then when I bought the car, the previous owner actually had it, never installed it, gave it to me, and so you guys threw it on there for me,
nice.
and it's night and day. It's very simple. It's very short, and makes it easier when you're especially running up in the mountains and downshifting.
Well, speaking of transmission, I know any manual GTI, if you tune it, you have to get a clutch.
Right.
Did you upgrade the clutch on this?
It does. It's Southbend Stage
Nice.
2 daily, so it takes the power from the IS38, no problem, no slip, nothing. It just.
How's it feel for daily use though, as far as clutch engagement and everything?
No, it's perfectly fine. I'm so used to it now that it just it's getting in your car and just driving.
Was it decently stiffer than
yes.
before? Okay.
Well, before, I mean, my GLI was a DSG.
Yeah.
But when I first purchased the car, when you get in it and you go push the clutch,
you're like, oh.
Your left leg is getting a workout. If you're coming from an automatic, it takes some getting used to. But I mean, now it's just getting in and just like anything else, driving.
Nice. And then I see that pretty little IS38 there.
Yeah.
So you went with the full IS38. It's pushing about how much? I know we dynoed it. So how much power
you guys
is it making?
dynoed it. It's pushing 356 at the wheel and 388 foot-pounds of torque.
And that's kind of the limit of once you want power rise, right?
Yeah, well, anything above that for me anyway is just a little useless.
It's a front-wheel drive car.
Right, because I'm not like trying to do highway pulls. I'm not trying to any of that stuff. I literally would just want to build this thing and take it to the mountains, which is my favorite thing to do. So
yeah, I mean, it's set up just right for it. I mean,
yep. It also has an APR intercooler.
Nice. Because that's one of the
that's one of the requirements. That's one of the requirements for doing the IS38.
It was a downpipe, so you have a downpipe on it.
Yep. It's a CTS downpipe.
CTS downpipe. The intercooler.
The APR intercooler. Correct.
Was there anything else you need to do for the IS38 package?
No, that's pretty much it. Like, just needs more air, obviously, to
in out.
cool it. Right.
Nice. Cool. So overall, I mean, the whole ethos of kind of the modification of this car is a set of balance. So like you don't want the engine to overdrive the wheels, overdrive the brakes, overdrive suspension.
Right.
So was that pretty much the theme of it? Was just kind of keep it nice, balanced.
Right. And again, that's the whole key, is just keeping it nice and balanced. The power when I need it.
But still keeping it to a level where you can drive it. You drive this every day. This is actually his daily driver.
This is my daily. So with being an IS38, just being basically a Golf R turbo, it still keeps it very OEM.
Is it an OEM IS38?
It's an OEM IS38 from Golf R. So, so you're not putting something in it that's that's questionable, or you know what I mean, or is it going to play well with the other parts?
So how substantial was the change from when you're at stage 1 when you got the car? And
right.
Then
so the car when I first got it was stage 1 plus, which was fun, and then I went stage 2. And that was fun as well, but stage 2 to IS38 is a whole different. So with the stage 2, you sort of get the mid-range torque. You get a very quick mid-range. This one, once you get used to it and you stay and you know where the boost range is, from there on it's just go. Yeah. There's no question that it's
a next level kind of thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, hey man, I really appreciate you bringing this thing down, just because it does highlight what we always recommend people do with Mark 7s, and it's really like, it's not much. Like, it's just a little bit of suspension here, a little bit of power there. These are already really good cars from factory.
Yeah, I mean, they're a great platform to just, they already provide you a great platform. It's just, what do you want to do with it? What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to build it for? And I think with Volkswagen and their MQB platform, I think you can go very many directions with it. It's just, how you want to do it.
Nice. Yeah, man. Well, I really appreciate you bringing it back, because I love this thing. The everything you've done is really, like, I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. It's
well, I mean, listen, I'll be honest with you. I couldn't have done it without you guys. You guys literally.
Don't.
You guys have really taken care of me and taken care of my car. And I mean, again, that's the reason why I trust you guys with it. And and we'll always come here to make sure anything that needs to be done to it. So.
Oh, well, Derek, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, of course.
Yeah, thank you. Well, hey, guys, thanks for watching. We're going to go take this thing for a quick rip, kind of get some rolling shots for you. But till then, make sure you like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Like,
Well, actually, while we're here, what brought you to the Volkswagen scene? Because you've been in it for longer than me.
My dad in Miami all he owned was Volkswagens.
Yeah.
Like growing up, all we had owned was he had bugs. He just loved the bugs.
Yeah.
He also had a Mark II that he loved, and it's always sort of been like when I was able to. Finally be able to buy like my own vehicle, it had to be a dub.
Yeah, like it was,
just because like that it's so familiar to me, and
you were raised being like, oh, these are the only cars I can.
Right, and
yeah,
so like I can literally close my eyes and be inside my dad's like Bug with a Wolfsburg edition, you know what I mean, and just be sitting there with him, and the smell and the
and that translates even to today when you're in the car. Yeah. So
like I said, I've always, I think when I really fell in love with it was when, so my neighbor across the street in Miami had he had a Mark II Cabrio, green, with
those are nice.
Fittipaldi's wheels on it. That's how far back I can remember that he had the Fittipaldi wheels on it, and I remember him leaving his house and seeing it, and when he dropped the top on it, and and it had the brace, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, that thing is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I never really, I know I loved the car. I never really understood that there was a culture behind it. And then it became
once you go to a few meets, you're like, oh, it's
right. And then when I think my first introduction to you guys was when we did the Jim Ellis shoot. That was really my first introduction into sort of the car show scene, or like the car scene. And when I was there, it just sort of it's overwhelming because you see all these guys and the different cars. And I remember seeing your car, and
oh yeah, I still had that thing.
Yeah, and that was it for me. Like I was like this is. I've never experienced anything like this, even though I've always had a Volkswagen.
Yeah, but you just had a Volkswagen. You didn't know about the.
Yeah, I didn't understand the culture behind it. And then when I met you guys, it was like. Yeah. Wow, like these guys are, and now you guys are like family, you know what I mean? Now it's like we see each other and it's like,
oh, dude,
it doesn't matter if it's 3 months.
Bro, you're my other Cuban uncle,
right,
bro.
Right.
you're just like, I'm from Miami, but like I don't have any family here. You're my Cuban uncle here.
You know what I mean? So, and it's nice, and you meet and you start meeting these people, and and then meeting Mickey and Darko, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now they're like family, so it's like, they see the kids, our kids play,
yeah.
So. But I think that's where that's where it all started, was, from my father basically.
Yeah. Damn, that was beautiful, man.
Sorry, man.
All right, well, on that heartfelt note,
right.
Thanks for watching.
Sorry, guys.
Subscribe.
I didn't mean to.
I want the money, the power, respect, and I heard you know so-and-so. You not a threat, cause I really know so-and-so. They like my family, so they go pretend that they cool till they bust at your motherfucking chest. I'm getting gutter, my flow been like butter, my check in the bank. They see the number, all of my haters feel one of two ways. Really upset, they show some respect.